News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 84 with mostly sunny skies, little to no wind. Humidity is at 70%. That's helping contribute to a heat index that's at 90. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms at 40% with a low around 69. That'll continue into tomorrow morning, mainly before 9 a.m. After that, a clearing out of those clouds with sunny skies and a high near 86. Then it should be a nice end to the week. 85 on Thursday, 87 on Friday with mostly sunny skies on both days. We got the game up next here on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I didn't really listen to her music too much, but I was still a fan. And let me tell you, this news about Dolly Parton passing away has taken the wind out of my sails a little bit. Like, to me, she was the music version of Betty White. Universally loved. Talented. Witty. But really, the number one goal in life was to help others. Betty White was big in, animal initiatives, animal shelters and things like that. And Dolly Parton was about, kids reading books. She funded a lot of money towards the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine studies and making that thing really happen. She was pretty big there. Man, though, Dolly Parton, 80 years old, has passed away.
A legend.
I saw recently she had to back out of some shows because of health. But I mean, I look at 80 and I'm like, 80's the new 60. People shouldn't be passing away at 80. Made so many advances in science and health and in medicine that our life expectancy should be through the roof. 80 still feels kind of young, even though that is actually above average for life expectancy. Well, men's lower than women. I mean, that's for obvious reasons.
Because we're dumb.
We're dumb. Yeah, that is very true. Man, Dolly Parton was cool. I mostly enjoyed her wit. She does have a couple of really good songs. I enjoyed Jolene, and I think the best song is Islands in the Stream with Kenny Rogers.
I don't even know that one too well, to be honest.
Oh.
At least just from the name of it.
A song that was written by the Bee Gees. They wrote that song, and then Dolly and Kenny released the duet in the 80s, and it was a number one hit. I can hear it going on in the background there, and Cole's getting brushed up on his Dolly Parton music knowledge as we speak. Welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf. We're with you until 5:30 today. We got the Royals who are white hot right now, getting ready to play some baseball tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not out of it.
They aren't. They are technically still in the race. At one point, I think their chance was basically rounded up to about 0.0%. But based on the most recent 8-game winning streak, it's gotten at least high enough for 0.1. So you're telling me there's a chance.
They're like 7 back in the wild card or something like that.
7.5, yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not September yet.
Terrible this year. They are bad, which has helped the Royals not be completely out of the race despite being 16 games under 500.
Hey, let them be one of the better terrible teams.
Yeah, I guess they are one of the better terrible teams. That's kind of the only way to put it right now.
Dolly Parton was one of the few country artists that have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And her response to that is, I'm going to make a rock and roll album. And so she made a rock and roll album to be more rock and roll.
I didn't know that.
No, man. short lady who, I mean, I look at Dolly Parton and I'm like, if there is an example of maybe not the modern day American dream, but back when she was a teenager American dream, is absolutely the picture story of what that is, because she was literally from an extremely poor family in the hills of Tennessee. She grew up in a one-room cabin with her parents and 11 siblings, like literally 11 siblings in this one-room cabin next to a river. Moved to Nashville the day she graduated out of high school, and she made it.
Yeah.
She would bet on herself with no money, and she made it happen.
It's crazy.
Because she had parents that would help her out, like, as in, like, oh, you have a dream? All right, pursue that dream. You know? No, that's a stupid dream. You're going to work in a coal mine.
Yeah.
You're going to chop down trees. Or you're gonna get married and you're going to support your husband. You know, I guess that would have been maybe the mindset back then.
Right.
Especially from being from the South. Nope. Trailblazer. The queen of country music. A badass.
Yeah.
For a little tiny lady that wore wigs and, you know, of course, known for a boob job and, but the wit. The wit is what really got me. She was hilarious. Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Quick. Very quick wit. This first segment is going to be a little bit about music today because we lost Dolly Parton. I'm not the best to talk about Dolly Parton, to be honest with you. Cole, obviously not either. But if you do have a request, you know, for our bumper music coming back in from break, we're going to play Dolly Parton songs. So if you got a request, hit us up, 785-537-1350. We'll play a couple of Dolly's greatest hits. Went to Morton Amphitheater yesterday. I just wanted to quickly go over that because I'm big into venues. If it's a music venue, if it's a sports venue, whatever. I'm very observant, like to check things out. Morton Amphitheater is brand new, and it's a music venue. Very impressed. It's better than Sandstone. Hate to say it because Sandstone was a big part of my growing up. Going there as a kid, never snuck in. You know, it's right next to the Renaissance Festival area. But people's main complaints were not the parking's one, like getting in and out. The show I went to last night, Toto, Christopher Cross, The Romantics, not the highest attended show, so it really wasn't that bad. I can understand it getting more full. It's a bottleneck exit, so that kind of sucks. I could understand that getting backed up, but it was the prices of things. $20 for a, you know, personal pizza. You know, really, the beer prices were pretty similar to like Arrowhead and Kauffman Stadium. Get the 25-ounce beer, whatever. But they have like hidden area, like not hidden areas, but like hidden menu items around Morton Amphitheater that I noticed that are cheaper. You could get $5 beers at like one specific concession stand. And if you want cheap eats, cheap concession stand items, if you go up to the grassy area, the hill at the top of where the stands are, which is where Lindsay and I sat, just some cheap tickets. It was an older people crowd, so they wanted their chair back, so the lawn was pretty empty. They have a couple of concession stands up there. You can get $2 hot dogs. You can get $3 pretzels, $3 snacks,
it's not bad.
Sodas. Like it can actually be pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And like the tickets were like $25 a piece.
Really?
So not bad.
Not at all.
And it sounds fantastic. It was done very well. And I will say the menu items that they have there, from drinks to food, is very well done. I did buy Lindsay last night. Not only did I buy her wine, but I did buy her a whole bottle of wine.
A whole bottle. Okay.
You can buy a whole bottle of wine. And you want to take a guess what a whole bottle of wine costs? We got Chardonnay. What that would cost? Because I know you're
I only buy wine for cooking. I really
you
don't
cook with wine?
Oh yeah, I really don't.
Do you really?
I cooked with wine earlier today, actually. I don't.
Guy Fieri over here.
I'm not a wine guy at all.
Gordon Ramsay over here cooking with wine. I've never even tried cooking it with wine.
Really? I
don't know anybody who cooks with wine.
I use it pretty frequently, actually.
That is not a Riley County thing.
Let's think. I'm going to say $25 for the bottle.
No, it was more than that, but $40.
Okay.
For a bottle of wine that lasted the entire night.
Sure.
I think that's kind of a good deal. And they like pour it in this like plastic container that you can take home. It's kind of fancy.
Okay.
You can get these kind of drinks where you get this like big goblet and it's gold. Like it's just it's different. Yeah, something like that. Big wine glass. They give you actually like plastic cups to pour your wine in. But I was like, man, $40 and you just go to the trip to the concession stand one time and you're good for your drinks. It's not really that bad. In real life, the bottle of wine, if you're paying $44, if you were to get it at a liquor store, it's probably $15 to $20.
Okay.
So the markup really is not that bad.
Like 2.5-ish. Probably better than the beers.
Yeah, the beer's $17, $18.
Yeah.
For a 25 ounce. It's expensive.
More bang for your buck.
Now, the other thing I wanted to play for you here real quick is who's been watching Hard Knocks.
I have not been.
Our boy Uso Seumalo is continuing to be featured, and he's like the kind of the feel-good fun story.
It's been electric.
Of Hard Knocks as they cover the Seattle Seahawks. Uso, of course, played here a couple of seasons as a nose guard. Got an extra year of eligibility thanks to the Diego Pavia waiver that allowed JUCO players to play another season of college football. So we got him for what, 3 years? We got 3 years, Uso Seumalo. And it turns out he's kind of talented. And it's not just playing football. He's got a shot at a roster spot. Now, him actually still making the team.
Again, that's a really good defensive line.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tough room to make it into.
That's tough. But a lot of these NFL teams kind of do these talent shows with the rookies, if you've made it this far. And so Uso, his talent was actually shown on the most recent edition of Hard Knocks. And I was very impressed because he got up on stage, on microphone, and with a guitar performed No Woman, No Cry, Bob Marley, in front of the entire Seattle Seahawks and other patrons of this bar.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. I remember when we used to sing in the government garden Trenchton about serving the hypocrites. Mingle with the good people we meet. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. A man of many talents right there. Nephew playing the guitar, no AI.
I tell you what, Uso is full of hidden talents because I remember he did a couple of Meet the Wildcats for Power K Game Day. We just kind of, it's an opportunity for, just random questions, talk about themselves, get to know them a little bit more, as I say, on a higher level with these unique questions. And I think I've asked him a couple of things about maybe hidden talent. I don't remember him talking about playing the guitar and singing, but he did talk about he's a hell of a cook. Like, he is really good in the kitchen. And he can make a whole bunch of things. But that includes, like, different kind of pastas. He's really good at making pastas.
Okay.
And then he jumps up on stage and plays the guitar. Not too bad. The singing wasn't too bad. And I think that's that Polynesian in him.
Yeah. Well, it's just a guitar is just a big ukulele.
Yeah. And, man, I don't know what it is about just that area, but just so many talented singers.
They're nice with it.
They just kind of, it comes naturally, I guess. I don't know where it really comes from. But kind of just, for whatever reason, it reminds me of The Rock is just a really good guitar player and a good singer. Uso Seumalo.
Shout out to Moana.
Moana, yeah. I can't name you a whole lot of Polynesian people that I know that are very good singers and guitar players, but add Uso to that list.
Yes, he's on the short list for sure. And his voice is kind of nice.
By the way, I'm sure you guys talked about this, but what was the better moment in the Chiefs preseason game? Harrison Butker's 69-yard field goal or King Felix and Udike Uzama coming around that left edge?
I'm here for Felix.
And just blasting that quarterback. I'm surprised it wasn't a flag because that was by far in a preseason game or a regular week game, regular season game, that he had a route to the quarterback so open, where he was just athletic, made a play on that right tackle, and got around the edge and had a wide open route to just cream the quarterback. Hasn't been able to happen in his career. I don't think he had a route like that in his college career.
Yeah, that was he just toasted the dude and got by, and it was a bunch of green grass.
First move was so smooth. There's the quarterback. Go get him. Please do not throw this football in the next second and a half because you're mine.
And Browning didn't feel him at all and got buried.
I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't a little bit of a flag there.
It's just a football play, man.
Is that a football play anymore?
Yeah.
I feel like they're just trying, because it was the force. It was just bury this guy.
It just looks worse since Browning had no idea it was coming.
Right, blindside.
Couldn't brace himself at all.
Because is he a lefty?
He is a righty. He just didn't feel him at all.
Okay. That was such a sweet play.
It was.
Exactly what Felix has been needing.
I'd love to see a lot of that this season.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get to some other K-State things that have come up here in the last 24 hours or so. Well, a little bit more on Darian Whitaker. Is he going to maybe help K-State out at a different position than what we've been talking about? And Oliver Miller getting more preseason discussion about what this true freshman year, there's no more true freshmen, right? What this freshman year could mean for the potential starter at left tackle. Plus, we got Jabroni of the Week, and today's 20 question in 20 shows. Today is question number 17. Can the Cats make it to Arlington, Texas? That's all still to come. You're listening to The Game.
Hills. Working with seniors day in and day out has made me long for a time when life was a little slower. When we took the time to check on our neighbors, to call our family, and simply be there for one another. If that speaks to you, let's be the change we want to see in this world. Each one of us can bring light into a dark world. 1 John 1:7 says, if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. We are Home of the Flint Hills, Christ-driven, family-owned, uniquely yours.
At ESB Financial, we think it makes sense to pay you. That's right, get paid 5.04% annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000 with our free Kasasa Cash checking account. We'll even refund your ATM fees nationwide, and the best part is there's no monthly service charges or minimum balances to keep. All you have to do to earn your rewards are a few simple things each month. The best part? These things make banking easier. Visit esbfinancial.com to learn more. Special terms may apply. ESB Financial, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
James was diagnosed at 3 months old with neuroblastoma. We went from thinking we had a healthy 3-month-old little boy, all of a sudden he had this super serious cancer. It was heartbreaking. He had chemotherapy until he was just under a year old, and at that point he was in remission.
Went that way for a year and then relapsed February of 2023, and here we are 1 year later finishing up treatment, hopefully.
The research is extremely important. The treatments that they're developing here get shared with all the doctors to help treat children worldwide.
It's contributing something like one more piece of the puzzle to curing this horrible disease. We all want the same thing. We all want our children to live, have long, meaningful lives.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
At concerts, we dance to the same tune. At games, we hug total strangers. At marathons, we hand water to people we'll never see again. We pull over to help. We stop for someone who's fallen. We give. We step up. We show up. And yet, in these moments, there's also something we don't do. We don't act based on how they look, who they love, where they're from, or what they believe. We just act. Because the things that make us different will never change what makes us human. Go to lovehasnolabels.com to learn more. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Cole Betchendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. Right-handed pitcher Blake Adams became the latest Wildcat to reach the major leagues after making his MLB debut last night with the Colorado Rockies. Adams became Wildcat number 5 to reach the majors in the last 5 seasons, along with Kalen Culpepper earlier this month, Carson Seymour, Jordan Wicks, and Will Brennan. Adams went 1 inning in his debut, facing 9 batters and giving up 5 earned runs on 5 hits. Adams spent 1 season for K-State in 2022, going 6-6 with a 5.07 ERA and 17 appearances, recording 90 strikeouts. He was drafted in the 13th round of the 2022 MLB Draft. Speaking of Kalen Culpepper, the rookie who was called up earlier in August recorded his first ever 4-hit game last night when the Minnesota Twins took down the Athletics 9-6. He's only gone hitless in 3 of his 14 games played this year, recording a .340 batting average and an .862 OPS in his young career. And the Kansas City Royals started a 3-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays later this evening as they look to continue their 8-game winning streak. It'll be a battle of 2 veteran pitchers tonight in Game 1, as 36-year-old Seth Lugo will start for Kansas City and 42-year-old Max Scherzer starts for the Blue Jays. First pitch at 6:07, pregame at 5:30 on KMAN.
See, why couldn't 9 to 5 be a thing, or 9-5, 9-5, instead of 6-7? Well, we're going to do 9-5 in honor of Dolly Parton today. Trivia question. Who is number 95 on K-State football roster? K-State's football roster.
Currently?
Who's number 95, yeah.
95, is that De'Arion Hicks?
No, it is not. I don't remember what Hicks' number is. It is Patrick Tackey.
Would not have gotten that.
Backup defensive tackle from the Bronx, New York. It's on K-State's website here. It's Bronx, New York. It is the Bronx, New York, I believe.
The Bronx.
It is the Bronx.
As in like the Ohio State University?
It is the Bronx. Not Bronx. It is the Bronx. Yes, it is.
Well, shame on them.
I know it. Leave it to me, being the cultured one.
The New York.
Somebody used to live there.
The New York genius.
Patrick Tackey came to us from Hines Community College. Back on the game, Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf. A couple things here, and we'll get to Darian Whitaker and Oliver Miller from K-State football here. The Cats have given us an update on remaining tickets for the 3 non-conference games. September 5th against Nichols is standing room only, so that's great to hear. Section 29 still has some tickets remaining. Those are like the the corner premium seats. They're kind of turning the corners of the bill into some premium seats because also performance table tickets are still up for grabs. If you're not familiar with what the performance table is, it's where the student athletes go to eat. They're at the Bill. It's in the West Stadium Center on the north end. It's like that random box of seats and tables. And that's where they all go eat. And K-State's now selling tickets for that, which I think they're $99 a piece, which
It's actually not bad.
it'll be AC'd. I don't know if there's anything in there to buy, like if there's beverages or anything, or if it's just a place to sit. But I bet, that's not too bad to sit inside.
Not at all.
For Washington State on September 12th, 325 non-premium tickets remaining. Also, Section 29 still has some tickets for sale. And Section 29 also has like the nicest seats, like as in the actual seats. Cushion, chair back. I think there's armrests.
It's nice living.
They're nice. And then for Tulane on September 19th, standing room only, and also Section 29 are still up for grabs as well. So K-State has now jumped into standing room tickets for sale for 2 of the 3 non-conference games. Mitch Fortner, Cole Dutchendorf with you until 5:30. 20 questions and 20 shows coming up at 5:05. Can the Cats make it to the Big 12 title game in 2026? Okay. I think there was one more thing I was going to get to. Have to refresh my memory. Oh, yes. The patches are on the field.
This is true.
They have officially been painted on the field, the advertising. Shout out to LinkedIn Cure.
Great name.
Cure. It's actually at Cure LinkedIn on X. The Big 12 logo with the Monster Energy drink logo side by side are now officially on the field there, Wagner Field at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. The actual on the field look, I can't tell. So the Big 12 logo is just black and white. There's the black background, the white logo, and then the green Monster Energy logo is there as well. Plus the Progressive logo. That is a deal through Learfield with a number of other Learfield schools, not all in the Big 12, across the country, will be at the opposite 25-yard line of the Monster Big 12 logo. I really don't think the Monster Big 12 logo, like the layout and the way it looks on the field, it's really not that bad.
Looks fine.
It's just the patch on the jerseys that just
terrible. Nuke 'em.
It's too much.
The field it looks right in place. Like that, I have no qualms with what it looks like on the field, but the jerseys are atrocious.
Yeah, the only bummer I would say is that the Big 12 logo is no longer purple, because when it was at the 25, and they've had a crew out there painting this stuff, doing not a makeover, but anyway, you know what I'm saying, the renovation, I suppose, to put these logos out there. They've had a crew out there today. It took some purple out of the personality of the K-State football field, but it's not that bad. I wouldn't call it an eyesore. It could be worse. At some point, it'll probably get worse, but it's not bad.
Again, until we turn into a NASCAR, that's when I'm going to be satisfied. When it's just you can't even see the yard lines anymore.
Someday there's going to be a McDonald's logo next to KFC, next to a State Farm, next to Walmart.
I see a vision for like after the AT and K-State get like an ANT in a smaller font right next to it for a little AT&T action.
When does Nike come in and say, wait, we've been with you guys forever. Why don't we get a swoosh on the field?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Right. The swoosh is going to go in the end zone. It's going to go next to K-State's the name. There's going to be a Nike swoosh in there somewhere. All right. We got Jabroni of the Week coming up, plus 20 questions in 20 shows. A couple of other topics that have kind of been whispered our way. Actually, one that's just kind of been on display here the last 24 hours is about Oliver Miller. On3 has released its preseason freshman All-American list and listed Oliver Miller as one of the candidates. On top of that, there was another noticeable name, a recognizable name, J.J. Dunnigan, who graduated from Manhattan High, was originally committed to KU and then flips, and then is now going to be heading to Miami. Very talented kid. I understand that flip.
Might note, decommitted a couple of days after the stomping in Lawrence for K-State versus KU.
Yes, that too happened. And I'm sure K-State volleyball the day before going in Allen Fieldhouse and beating KU volleyball, top 25 team, may have something to do with that as well. You never know. Never asked him.
Rough weekend for the Jayhawks.
You're not going to know unless you ask him. But he's on that list as well. And I would say, yeah, for Oliver Miller, I would hope he is and I'm glad they've noticed, but a freshman All-American candidate. Because it's not easy as an offensive lineman to get on the field as a freshman. Now, looking at a last few years of just like who have been freshman All-Americans, well, the majority of them were redshirt freshmen. They had already been on a college football team for, a year without really playing. And I remember Phil Steele has mentioned this to us a couple of times. You're typically pretty elite if you're getting on the field as a true freshman and playing the offensive line and you're starting. Oliver Miller is going to get this opportunity because of injuries. And look, I've said now with John Pastore and George Fitzpatrick, what's very unfortunate for them is especially George Fitzpatrick, and really actually Pastore thrown in there as well because he's had his history of injuries, that their eligibility is now done, and this has opened the door for younger K-State players to jump in and try to earn themselves some playing time. Oliver Miller is going to play. I'm sure we're going to see Ryan Howard on the field, and Tyler Johnson, the transfer from Auburn, is trying to battle for this spot. But Oliver Miller is somebody that we've been hearing since the spring, and since really actually is before you asked the question, Cole, because I've had a few people in my ear saying, and this was before Brandon White. This is before Brandon White was becoming popular during spring ball practice, and people are saying that he can't be covered. He's small, he's quick, he's fast, he's agile. Good job, good luck covering him because you can't cover him. And those are kind of things that were then echoed at Big 12 Media Day by guys like Avery Johnson, his quarterback. But I was hearing things about Oliver Miller before Brandon White. One of the first people that actually came up and said this stuff to me is somebody's at practice every day, in the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. He's been seeing this coming for a while. But that is one of the reasons why a true freshman went up on the field, is because injuries have happened. And K-State's been sort of preparing for something like this to potentially happen. And, Oliver Miller he was destined to play as a true freshman. But, going back to what I was going to say, though, about what Phil Steele has told us multiple times, he feels like at the most, it's maybe 5 or 10 guys in all of college football as true freshmen get on the field and are starters or playing significant playing time. So if you just go by the numbers and by the odds, Oliver Miller should have a good shot at being a freshman All-American because, and I think this is going to play out to be the case, he's going to be K-State's best option now to play left tackle. If they're not going to move Gus Hawkins or going to move somebody else to potentially be that starter and Gus will just stay at right tackle, Oliver Miller is probably your most talented guy, certainly with a high ceiling. And we have, hope that, it happened last year. John Pastore steps in for an injured George Fitzpatrick who can't play all year. Does a pretty gosh darn good job. Well, Oliver Miller could definitely do that same thing as well. So, I stick by what I was saying last week. Really sucks that those two guys can't play. I don't know if that's necessarily changed my optimism. Maybe a little bit, but it's not game-changing to me. It's not panic button. It's not the season is over. These guys can no longer run the football. Who in the world has the talent to protect Avery Johnson now? Because John Pastore is out. And there's reason guys like Oliver Miller is getting this much hype. Probably underlooked from these recruiting sources. There were big names trying to come in and get him. He sticks with the Cats. And, of course, he's going to become a freshman All-American, then become too expensive to keep around. And, somebody that's not as budget,
tight on the resources.
More budget friendly, has more to spend, will be able to bring in Oliver Miller for a sophomore season. And, and then, sky's the limit for Oliver Miller wherever he decides to go. Not saying that's something he would decide to do. Plus he played some pretty high-level college football in Colorado, played for Cherry Creek. So, K-State got a big-time steal. And I think this is going to all add up to Oliver being pretty decent. But if you're going to play the odds and play the numbers on what it takes for what we knew as a true freshman, now just simply as a freshman, to be an All-American, those accolades are open for Oliver Miller, even if he's not the full-time guy quite yet. Will he blossom into that? I think he's absolutely got the talent to do so.
And I think it kind of goes back a little bit to spring when you had some of those other offensive linemen who were either recovering from an injury last year. I mean, you could throw Gus Hawkins and Tanner Morley would be two guys that would fit that description, or that were just dealing with, injuries that would pop up here and there. And the silver lining of that is when that happens, you still need to have 5 guys on the line practicing, or 10 guys when you're looking at the second team, and you're getting those cross-training. You're also getting guys like Oliver Miller, probably a lot more reps than he would have gotten otherwise. So he's getting to experience adapting to the speed of Big 12 football, even if it's just in spring practices. It's a full semester of weight training with a Division I program, with being inside that offensive line group, with having a full semester of learning underneath the entire coaching staff. So that really is all extremely beneficial, and it ends up helping K-State a little bit, you would think at least, that they had some injuries in the spring, because it got guys like Oliver Miller more practice for what's going to be him getting kind of thrown into the fire a little bit here to start the season, we think.
The other storyline here of the recent days, whispers around Darian Whitaker, who has been mentioned multiple times on the show, that, we're hoping he becomes a blossoming dude this upcoming season after last year not really seeing the field at all. But he was projected to be potentially, don't know about being a starter, but being in the rotation to be a will linebacker.
Mentioned as one of the 4 linebackers from Coach Klein.
That's true. Yes, he was mentioned as one of the 4 linebackers. It was him. It was Mekhi Mason, Rex Van Wy, and Gabe Powers. And we haven't heard from Darian Whitaker. We haven't had a chance to really speak to him. But the recent whispers and maybe a little bit of evidence from one particular coach is like, maybe he's actually moved positions. I was like, oh, this is very interesting. Because, look, he is – does anybody know where Darian Whitaker is from? He's from Nebraska. He didn't play the highest level of high school football. It's kind of like Lincoln Cure. I mean, high ceiling, very talented, didn't play the toughest high school football. Darian Whitaker is not as great at high nearly as Lincoln Cure, but very versatile. Played a lot of positions. He played safety, linebacker, line, running back. He's played a lot of positions. I didn't know if will linebacker necessarily checked all the boxes of just maybe that's where he should be to really excel with the kind of talent he has. It's like maybe Mike linebacker might be that place. But really the early kind of discussions about him was like, could he be an edge rusher? Because he's so explosive. He's so athletic. Good on a curve. Great strength. Great speed. Maybe edge would be the spot for him. But then he was practicing at will linebacker. Now the word is maybe he's going to maybe try in some edge. So I think this is very interesting. And the evidence here, and again, this maybe just reading this is like a cryptic message in some way, but Nick Toth, who's K-State's new linebackers coach, tweeted out a picture of just here with my boys, arms around each other, just all the linebackers taking a group photo with shirts on, brought to you by Shamrock. Some showing the abs. I get it. If I had them, I would do the same. No Darian Whitaker in that photo. And that's assuming that he's not banged up. From what we know, he's good to go. But also been a few whispers here and there that he's working with the edge. Now, this is also goes into the story of they have moved some guys around, tried some guys. Jordan Allen, for example, has worked at end. He has worked at defensive tackle.
Travis Bates as well.
Travis Bates is he did that last year. He played sort of both positions as well. Played inside, played outside. And so maybe this is also, hey, could Darian Whitaker really help us out at edge? I think, hell yes, he could.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, that honestly excites me more than him playing will linebacker because of, again, for his traits that I stated earlier, and just kind of where his size, his athleticism, his speed. Again, he really explodes off the snap. I think that just may suit him better. I mean, that's just personally how I feel. But also just kind of daydream about, Darian on one side, and then on the other side you got somebody like Wendell Gregory. Yeah, that could be pretty good. Not saying it wouldn't be good with Elijah Hill. Elijah Hill's going to play a lot of football for K-State this year. Darren Whitaker could be pretty gosh darn good too.
Well, and one thing, you mentioned the versatility in high school. That's only going to help him a ton, and be able to do different things on the defense. If he's playing defensive end mainly, then, disguising a coverage and dropping him into the flats or something where he's going to be very comfortable and bring in, a nickel blitz or something like that. It just gives Coach Peterson more things to play around with as well. So it gives K-State another element of the versatility and some things that they can move their chess pieces accordingly and hopefully have a pretty ferocious defense.
Since the summer of 2025, the talks of Darren Whitaker really stepping out, being noticed as a freshman, as potentially somebody that's going to make a difference in K-State's defense here in the near future. Look, he's been really hyped up for over a year now. I mean, this has been a lot of talk about Darren Whitaker. What is he going to be in the near future for K-State? Hopefully those answers are coming soon. Will it be at edge? Will it be at linebacker? Folks, we're 11 days out from K-State football. September 5th, Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Power Cat Game Day kicks off its 31st season at 2 o'clock right here on K-Man, also on 101.5 K-Rock, and can be heard live at PowerCatGameDay.com. All the boys are back for this upcoming season. We'll take a break. We got Dramedy of the Week. That's after these words on KMAN.
Chick-fil-A and Community First National Bank, America 250. Happy birthday, America, where freedom is written, protected, and lived every day.
The 20th century called America to lead. Through global conflicts and historic challenges, Americans defended freedom at home and abroad. From the Great Depression to victory in World War II, the nation showed resilience, unity, and strength. Then, in 1969, the world watched as astronauts from NASA landed on the moon, a giant leap for mankind. Innovation, courage, determination defined the century. America 250, rising to meet history's greatest moments.
Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Community First National Bank, Faith Furniture, Rothwell Landscape, Visit Manhattan, the Museum of Art and Light, and Manhattan Broadcasting.
With Michelle Smallman.
I think about Cleveland. That is a great city filled with loyal and dedicated and passionate sports fans, particularly when it comes to their football team. When is enough? I feel like I'm looking at one of my girlfriends at brunch who is in a toxic relationship, and I'm like, I can't hear about this anymore. I can't handle you telling me about this dysfunction anymore without you removing yourself from it. It's such an important part of your identity when you're a football fan or a sports fan in general to show up and give your time, your effort, your money, and your loyalty to a product. But you do that because you have hope that at some point there will be reciprocity. At some point, they will give you something to be proud of that makes you happy and that can galvanize you and your friends and your family and your community. The Cleveland Browns have not done that for a long time.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. When it's game time, you need a good playbook, especially in the kitchen. Because when a crowd wants wings, fresh pizza, and mouth-watering sliders, you better have options in your kitchen.
With Frigidaire Range, you get over 15 cooking modes, including stone-baked pizza, air fry, and air sous vide. Your game time MVP combo built right into your oven. Available at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You say said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 84 with little to no wind, mostly sunny skies, heat index at 90 thanks in part to 70% humidity. 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight with a low around 69. That continues into tomorrow morning. That's mainly before 9 a.m. with a gradual clearing of those clouds and sunny skies in the afternoon with a high near 86. Should be a beautiful end to the week as well. Thursday mostly sunny and a high of 85, a high of 87 on Friday.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! You jabronis hit the jackpot!
That Hollywood blonde jabroni, Hulk Hogan!
Ow! Is this jabroni's name?
Jabroni of the Week.
Well, here we go. Jabroni of the Week, 3 dishonorable mentions, and I'll finish up with my Jabroni of the Week. I'm making this a light dishonorable mention because if I'm going to go with the prep ranks, I typically don't go any younger than high school, but did we see that video from a junior high football game where the sister of one of the players who was a little older of this 13-year-old boy came out of the stands and tackled a player from the opposing team?
I did not.
Because there was some roughhousing going on and her brother was getting kind of pushed around.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I'm gonna list. I mean, this kid's gonna hear about this for a while, even from. I mean, the sister came out and onto the field, is being charged, for
a crime.
Technically a crime, and he got tossed from the game. The sister got tossed from the game. The other kid got tossed from the game.
Oh, it was after the play.
It was after the play.
I was thinking
yes.
this is in the field of play, like someone's on a breakaway or something.
That would make it probably better. No, so a light dishonorable mention, open things up. And my next dishonorable mention, Cole, you probably know more about this than I do. But from what I know, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns because of this whole Deshaun Watson thing. He returns, he gets booed at a preseason game, and he's like, man, screw you guys. You're only booing me because of personal reasons. This has nothing to do with football. Well, if you know about his personal reasons, it was a controversial.
They should be doing a lot more than booing.
Yeah, it was a controversial signing to begin with because, first of all, he's making over $230 million, all guaranteed. He has sexual misconduct allegations that are still ongoing from what I understand. And then plus, when he has played, he's barely played because he's been so banged up. The numbers aren't very good.
They're terrible.
And, in this preseason game, 12 passes, he was 5 of 12 for 36 yards and an interception. He wasn't good either. And he's been named the starting quarterback.
Deshaun Watson is and it is probably the most important thing, he's a terrible football player at this point. He has not had a good season of football in a very long time, and that would be one thing in and of itself if it wasn't for all the off-the-field stuff as well. And then for him to play the victim, I thought was a joke. I think I feel bad for Todd Monken, the Browns head coach, because I think this is coming from ownership. I think this is them saying, hey, we signed this guy to the worst contract in NFL history. You're going to start him. You don't have a say in this decision. And then eventually when Deshaun Watson inevitably sucks in the beginning of the year, then you can go to Shadur at quarterback number 2.
My next dishonorable mention, my last one, is going to be from the Little League World Series. I don't know his name, but it was one of the umpires. And I happened to be watching this live because it was the first round of the Little League World Series, and it was California taking on Iowa. Iowa, representing the Midwest, is up 1-0. It's the final inning. But California has the bases loaded, 2 outs, and we're down to a strike. And right now, at this point, Iowa has a combined no-hitter going. But the count is full. The pitch comes in. It's way outside. I mean, it's in the opposite batter's box. It's a little high, and it was a called strike 3. And the kid was dropping his bat. He was going to go walk. The walk would have resulted in the tying run. There would have been the tying run, and he ends up calling the strike. So, but I'm going to bring up the bigger thing here, not just that because it was atrocious there, but apparently the Little League World Series is having a huge issue with umpires. Some really, really, really bad strike zones. Now, these aren't MLB umpires. These are obviously a lower-level umpire, but it's really bad apparently. And that was kind of one of the first examples in the Little League World Series of having all these issues.
That wasn't a great call. I just watched it. It was definitely outside.
Oh, it's an easy call.
Yeah. Pretty well off the plate.
But my jabroni of the week is going to go to San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York. Used a pseudonym and responded multiple times to a fictitious ad for a prostitute prior to his arrest in Ohio over the weekend. The report says officers of this law enforcement task force, I don't know how to say the town name, identified him as a man named Joe in a response to an ad which was posted by an undercover cop posing as a woman on a known prostitution website. York contacted the undercover officer twice Saturday with no response before the undercover officer responded to a third message sent Sunday and offered to meet that morning in East Palestine, Ohio, according to the report. Officers said York, after he arrived at the agreed-upon meeting location at this mobile home, he agreed to certain services worth $160. He passed along the money.
It's so bad.
And then just from about every door and closet in that mobile home, here comes the police officers in a sting operation to arrest the owner of the San Francisco 49ers.
It's just so embarrassing on so many different levels. What are we doing, man?
He pled no contest. Well, if you look at the punishment here, the fine, he had to pay a fine of $1,150. He was sentenced to 1 day in jail for each charge, with 1 day already considered to be served. He had 2 charges, so 2 days in jail.
The embarrassment is almost worse.
A short hour 2 of the game coming up next as K-State make it to Arlington. That's coming up next.
Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
Every body is different. Some get injured and others wear down. At Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, your unique condition is at the center of what we do. Locally owned, OSMC is all-inclusive, featuring state-of-the-art equipment and treatment from diagnosis through surgery, physical therapy, and a return to activity to get you back to an active and pain-free life. Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, the same doctors trusted by Kansas State University. The greatest comebacks begin here. More information at kansasortho.com.
Kansas Rescue here to help you beat the bugs with Westwood One Sports. Let's take Cody Bellinger. He's back for the New York Yankees. He loves it in Yankee Stadium. Let's take him over 1.5 total bases against the Houston Astros. And is there a hotter hitter than Pete Alonso? He's been in a homer every single day. Let's take Pete Alonso, who's been smoking those cigars, over 1.5 total bases. You parlay the 2 of those together, you got yourself a winner. Bet smarter and beat the bugs. Download the BetMGM app today.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. drive sober, or get pulled over.
From lending options to treasury management services, KS State Bank provides innovative solutions to help your business succeed. KS State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender, KMAN.
Grow up safe from preventable diseases.
News Radio, KMAN, weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 84 with mostly sunny skies. Little to no wind, heat index at 90. Tonight, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 69. That carries into Wednesday morning until around 9 a.m. Then a gradual clearing of those clouds from the morning and a high near 86. Should be a beautiful rest of the week in Manhattan. Mostly sunny and a high of 85 on Thursday, 87 the high on Friday, and starting to heat up a little bit more on Saturday, a high near 92.
K-Man Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
Today we pour one out for Dolly Parton. Passes away at the age of 80. I've said this before, the beginning of the show, I wouldn't say I've been torn up by a lot of celebrity deaths. Even for the ones that I'm not necessarily the biggest fans or like listeners of their music, like for example with a musician. But Dolly Parton was just so cool, so chill, funny, a pretty regular person despite the fame. And that's a pretty rare one to have.
And also just one of the most iconic, recognizable celebrities of the last 2 centuries.
I mean, extremely successful. One of the best-selling country music artists of all time, especially on the female side. I mean, she does hold a bunch of records. I do believe she has the most number 1 hit singles as a female in country music. I do believe that still stands. She had quite a few.
Dolly does have 25 on the Hot Country Songs chart.
That's pretty good. Now my personal favorite, Islands in the Stream.
I'm saving that one for our Ask Us Anything bed for today.
Sweet. I love that. If you have a favorite Dolly Parton song, you can hit us up, 785-537-1350. The text line is open. Dolly Parton. I don't know if she passed away today or if it was I know she had there was a relative, just a representative of the Dolly Parton family.
You have a nephew.
They the way they decided to do it, instead of just putting out a press release or whatever, sending info to the media, they just put a video up on Dolly Parton's social medias and said she has passed.
Mm-hmm.
And we're letting you know first. Just letting everybody know with a video. I thought that was a pretty good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Not
hearing it from TMZ or whatever.
The fans are responding before the media is.
Right.
The media has to, ask ChatGPT to, hey, we're trying to beat for example, Fox or ABC. Oh, we got to beat NBC and ABC to this. Let's get the first story out. ChatGPT, let's get a quick, write me up 200 words on Dolly Parton. That wouldn't be enough, but whatever, you know what I mean? Truly an icon. Mm-hmm. Truly somebody that stood out in her own way. And I love her humor.
Transcendent among generations. Like everyone knows Dolly Parton is. Everyone knows a few Dolly Parton songs, no matter if you're 12 years old or 92 years old.
She was an actress. I thought she also was a cross-genre star, pop songs as well. But also, heck of a songwriter. Are you familiar with the Whitney Houston hit "I Will Always Love You"? Originally done by Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody posted on our K-Man Facebook page when we posted a story, just a picture and a quick caption about Dolly Parton's passing, and just kind of hey, can you leave us, what's your favorite Dolly Parton song? And then somebody posted that she had a TV show in the mid-'70s, and she would close every show with a singing of "I Will Always Love You."
It's a banger.
Yeah,
both
really
from Dolly and Whitney.
20 questions in 20 shows. Today is question number 17. You guys did hot takes yesterday.
Yes.
When I was driving out to Morton, I lost you guys. I was just listening to K-Man and just listening until K-Man got too fuzzy, and I checked out a few other radio stations on the way there. Give me an example of your hot take.
One of mine was, and this one was probably the hottest, is that Avery Johnson will lead the Cats in rushing yards this year. And that was basically the scenario I laid out, was that it truly is a three-headed monster at running back on the offense with like 600. That was taking the sack yardage away from Avery's end of the year total.
But unfortunately, they don't do that in college football.
Right. I'm saying that was my caveat, was that you'd subtract the sack yardage. You'd find however many yards he lost on sacks over the course of the season, add it back to his total, take that one.
Probably should have phrased that a little better. Should have probably just gone bold predictions instead of hot takes, because typically hot takes are controversial. I'm not really a hot take guy. Like, I don't need to be a hot take guy to do it.
It's kind of just dressing it up a little bit.
Sure, I suppose. I guess the one I've been kind of just throwing out there a little bit is like, well, if K-State does, as we're going to talk about Arlington, Texas, I'm like, can Colin Klein get Big 12 Coach of the Year without making it to Arlington? Because I think it's happened a couple of times that's happened in the Big 12 championship game era, but it would probably have to get to Arlington for him to be Big 12 Coach of the Year. But I've done a couple of, like I've told you this earlier, but the shows I was going on a couple of weeks ago, variety of them from all over the Big 12, and I would just always get asked the question, what's K-State's record going to be? And I said everything from 7-5 to 10-2. I just kind of changed it up every time. Then I got, what's a bold prediction? What's a big take about the Cats this year? I was like, Colin Klein, he's going to be Coach of the Year in the Big 12, first year.
I don't hate it.
And you heard it here first. You
did.
And if I'm wrong, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Because
don't pull the receipts if I'm wrong.
Don't get me wrong. If K-State goes 8-4, 9-3, I'm not going to be disappointed.
Right.
With that, to be honest with you. I mean, it's going to be disappointing in the moment when K-State doesn't win a game, but it's about thinking about the future.
The 10,000-foot view.
Yeah, for sure. But leads into the question, does K-State make it to the Big 12 championship game? It's the question we throw in every year. K-State's always considered a contender in some form or fashion. If it is a dark horse or the outside looking in or a, preseason projection to go to Arlington, which we all did on Power K Game Day in 2022, called it on week 1 that they would go and win the Big 12 championship. So Cole, we'll start with you. I can't remember what your record was when we were talking about road games and home games.
I think my total record right now is 9-3.
Let's stop. Let's start this another way, because we're both going to assume Texas Tech is in.
Right.
I mean, they are the team to beat. I think, honestly, it'd be a little crazy if you said Texas Tech is not going to Arlington, Texas, especially when you think about their schedule. I mean, if Houston does go in there week 4 and pulls off the win, okay, maybe maybe a little vulnerability there. Maybe Will Hammond is he not as sharp as he should be? But we definitely know about Texas Tech. You look just about everywhere else, and they picked up some good talent in the portal.
Their defense is going to be really, really good again.
So what would it take? Like, what is the floor to be that second team in? We're talking Big 12 record. I mean, because the way I look at it, I'm thinking 8-2.
So 7-2?
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, 7-2.
I think that's you have to have 7 wins. You can't have more than 2 losses. Unless things get crazy. But I don't see BYU losing 3 games in the Big 12. I don't see. Well, maybe it might just be BYU, but Utah probably not going to lose a whole lot of games in the Big 12. I don't think Arizona. I don't think Houston are going to lose. I think 7-2 is that cutoff. You lose more than 2 games, you're pretty much eliminated from contention in my eyes.
K-State is considered to have the second easiest schedule in the Big 12. 8-2 isn't. Or I did it again. 7-2. I'm not there yet on K-State. I can't say that in the preseason that 7-2, it's doable. That's just not where I'm going to predict them to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm still standing on they're going to win their 3 non-conference games. I think there's going to be tougher road games on this schedule than what we project to be right now. Probably Arizona State, probably TCU, and even at home playing a good Houston team. Houston is, if you're considering to be a top-tier team in the Big 12, that's probably fair. They're a 10-win team last year that returned a ton of their talent.
And got some big ads in the portal.
They have the 7th most experienced team in college football, especially of players returning, which is a very rare thing. That's not nothing, right? So that's something to much consider. I mean, probably top tier is, I think Utah's underrated, so I'd throw Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, and Houston. And then if you go a second tier of a 4, throw in Arizona, I would say probably TCU would be in there, K-State would be in there, and then I know some are high on UCF, so maybe a UCF or maybe
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State would be there, or Arizona State, depending on maybe not preseason for Arizona State. They got a lot of work to do, But they could prove that week 2 against Texas A&M on the road. So again, to look at this schedule, because here's your contenders. We just mentioned them. Utah, BYU, Houston are probably the others that people are considering playing Texas Tech for the Big 12 championship game. So you would agree that you don't have K-State in Arlington right now?
I don't, and I don't even know if it's fair to predict that. I think there's a difference between expecting it and the possibility of it happening. I think it's possible K-State ends up in Arlington, partly because of how the schedule lays out and partly because you just have high hopes and you feel like it's a high ceiling for the team probably as a whole, especially just with a different level of offensive mind in Colin Klein behind the whole machine. But I don't think it's fair to expect them to be in a Big 12 championship. Again, they could potentially find their way into it, but I don't expect them to be in Arlington.
The second half of the Big 12 schedule, it gets interesting. Because, and I've said this on other shows, but I'm going to say it here. I've said it on this show before, but when Utah and BYU play Week 10, that's going to be a very pivotal game. I mean, that is
it's a huge
Big 12 championship implications. That is college football playoff implications. That might be the single biggest Big 12 game on the schedule this entire season for what it will mean for the rest of that year. Like, could it even be a playoff game on its own? You know, I wouldn't say Utah and BYU has the hardest or easiest schedule. I mean, it's a pretty interesting mix. Utah, though, down the final stretch will have the toughest run because they'll play, for the last 6 games of the regular season is Houston, BYU, Arizona, TCU. And, of course, 2 of those are on the road and 2 of them at home, but the 2 biggest games are at home. BYU will have Utah, but then after that, they got Baylor, KU, and Cincinnati. But before that is Arizona State, UCF. I think down the stretch, BYU has a little bit of an easier outlook, but they got to play that game at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Which is a big deal.
So that's super pivotal. Plus, we need BYU to beat Notre Dame.
Yes, that would be great.
Beat them. So schedule-wise, like, how is that all going to turn out? I mean, I think tiebreakers are coming into play here. There's going to be teams that slip up. There's going to be some upsets. K-State will need to go pull off some big road wins to make this happen. I feel good about K-State's home schedule. It's the road schedule that they're gonna take a few lumps, I think. And I know Colorado right now is considered like it's a trap game, underrated. Look, Colorado has a number of issues other than talent. Talent necessarily isn't the biggest issue. It's offensive line consistency, too much of a pattern. It is culture. Not the best culture, in my opinion, there in Boulder, Colorado right now. Not the right mindsets. Deion Sanders and his legal issues. So, no, I don't have K-State in Arlington, Texas right now, but who do I have them facing? The safe bet feels like it's BYU. BYU is probably more built right now to make a run it back to the Big 12 title game and play Texas Tech. But I would say also Houston is probably just as built. Maybe not as good as an offensive line, but talent-wise, that's going to be some competition. Houston should be really good, but they got to come out of the gates and play Texas Tech in Week 3. So odds are of them playing behind a little bit early on, it's up there. But I wouldn't count out Houston from going on the road and pulling off a big win.
I think the biggest difference between Houston and BYU is the defense. And there are certainly some question marks on the Houston defense that I don't have any questions on whether or not the BYU defense is going to be good. You feel pretty confident in the fact that they're going to be able to churn out a really solid defense. They were really good last year. They have a lot of players back from that squad. I think BYU, I told Tim this yesterday, and his bold Big 12 prediction was that neither BYU or Texas Tech would be in the championship game. I would almost be more shocked if BYU wasn't in the championship game than Texas Tech to a certain extent. Because I can believe you if you said Will Hammond struggles to get it going and bad quarterback play, it takes a step down from Baron Morton last year, and the Tech defense just can't do enough to win them X amount of games that keep them in Arlington contention. But we've heard up and down, one side and the other, that this is Sitake's best roster that he has ever assembled at BYU. A ton of continuity on the team. They had the fewest players lost to the portal, just 9 last year. It's a very similar team to last year, but just with one more year of experience. I'm not huge on Bear Bachmeier, but I do think there's a big difference between a true freshman starting at quarterback and heading into that second year after a full season of experience under your belt. So I think BYU is going to be really, really tough to beat. I think they're not going to beat themselves, and they're kind of going to grind you and wear you down over the course of a game.
I still think Utah, though, is underrated. Now, defensively is where they have to find the answers. Offensively, they returned so much talent. But it was defensively where there's a handful of really good guys that went to Michigan. Morgan Scalley couldn't retain them, but still hit the transfer portal very well. Morgan Scalley is pretty motivated coach right now, and it seems to be pretty motivating to the team. With the right pieces in place to make the run as well. But their stretch to the end there, playing BYU at home, could be pivotal, but to come unscathed at Arizona and at TCU is going to be much tougher to deal with than what BYU has with Baylor at home and KU on the road, and then Cincinnati to wrap up the regular season. BYU needs to make sure they don't have 2 losses, or they don't have more than one Big 12 loss when they head into Rice-Eccles Stadium. And if they do that, I think they're going to Arlington. Because, again, 2 losses can get you in Arlington to play Texas Tech. Utah just has a schedule that just – it's a little bit more challenging than I think what BYU has. We brought up Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is in a conference game. That's not going to make a difference in if they're going to make the Big 12 championship game or not, even though I feel like Utah is better at quarterback and maybe not a running back, but a quarterback. They should be a better team than BYU, better than Bear Bachmeier.
I think one thing, too, for Utah, though, the line's going to look a little bit different this year, too. I think they're not going to be as strong up front as they were last year. The biggest hit by far is Spencer Fontenot, obviously going to the NFL as a first-round draft pick. So just the fact that you're losing some, even though you retain someone from inside of the program, you still lose Kyle, and he's been just a force of consistency for a very long time. So I'm a little less optimistic on Utah for the season. So I would have, if I was taking a team from the state of Utah, I'd lean BYU over Utah this season.
You want to stay here, or should we take a quick break and then we'll do Ask Us Anything to wrap it all up?
Let's just stick here and do it right now.
Fired up. We're going to be with you for a couple more minutes. We got the Royals coming up here at the bottom of the hour. So we're both taking BYU to play Tech in the Big 12 title game.
That is what I'm doing, even though it's
boring.
Yeah.
Everybody going with that answer.
Houston would be my third pick.
Yeah. I'm probably leaning Houston as well. Then Utah would be that next one.
And then why not K-State as number 5?
Sure.
Question for you today. How many times would you have to see Eminem in public before you thought he was following you? Like if you're just out and about doing your own thing, going to the Friendship House for a breakfast and while meal, you're like, hey, that's Marshall Mathers. That is Eminem sitting right across. You're like, okay, what's up? Get a picture, whatever.
Should be reversed. How long would it take him to notice that I'm following him?
Well, but again, you're not the one
TMZ.
following him. So that's the big key to this. So then you head to, let's say, Hy-Vee. And you're doing some grocery shopping, and you go down an aisle, you look behind you, and there's Slim Shady yet again. Is it number 2?
You looking for mom's spaghetti?
I think it's on that 4th time. I think the 4th time you see Eminem in one day on your excursion on the town, I think that's when you're like, something's going on here. I think this guy's following me.
Marshall Mathers doesn't go out in public like that, though.
Well, right, but in this hypothetical situation, he is following you.
This is a really weird one.
It's just a matter of how many sites of Eminem do you have to see before you're like,
what the
heck's going on here?
Do I confront him?
Also a fair question. Like if we're getting to like stop 10 and it's like, what is Eminem doing here? Are you going up to him like, why are you following me, dude?
Do you challenge him to a rap battle?
I would advise against that. I know I would not want to do that against
no, this is a hypothetical. It's kind of anything goes, right?
That's fair. I would.
The answer would be no.
I would not challenge him to a rap battle.
I'd be B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted trying to battle Marshall Mathers.
Things wouldn't go so well, I wouldn't
Making a
think.
joke out of myself and getting thrown into a dumpster full of Wonder Bread. You ever seen that movie?
No, I have not.
Oh, gosh. It's a classic.
What was the...
Malibu's Most Wanted.
No, I have not seen that one. Thought the question was going to be 8 Mile.
Rich white kid grows up. Dad's running for governor. He thinks he's a tough guy. He can rap battle. Makes his own music. And it's absolute trash.
I'm
Jamie
intrigued.
Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy? I don't even know if
His name is Brad, but he goes by B-Rad.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
Spices it up a little bit.
Speaking of that, we're going to finish Summer of Culture tomorrow.
The final edition.
If I see Marshall Mathers one time in Riley or Potawatomi County, dude, what are you doing here?
Yeah. That's a great point.
A friend of mine in high school passed away. She was a makeup artist in Texas. When she passed away, Vince Young showed up at the funeral.
That's a connection.
It was just kind of one of those. Vince Young is in Clay Center, Kansas right now. This is wild.
Crazy.
Despite the terrible circumstances.
Right.
All right, we got to wrap it up. We're back tomorrow for a couple of hours. Summer of Culture will continue. Plus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holtz, is joining us. Plus, it is Wednesday, so it'll be a KSO day. Royals are coming up next. For Cole, I'm Mitch. 9 in a row? We'll find out next. Go Cats.